Hey guys, my name is Nick and welcome to my channel where I cover all things entertainment. Whatever you're watching, I'm making videos about. And it's that time of the month again when everything we're watching is leaving our favorite streaming services, especially Netflix. We have quite the list to get through, so let's break down the best movies that are leaving Netflix on June 30th. 21 is a crime dramedy based on true events about MIT students who are taught by their professor to count cards while playing poker and how they win millions at Vegas casinos. I remember this being a big hit when it came out back when I was a teenager, but I never liked this one. The Amityville Horror. This is the perfect example of a bad remake. This is, of course, the mid-2000s remake of the classic film, The Amityville Horror. And while you should know the story, you shouldn't watch this version, because pretty much the only thing that makes it watchable is a super buff Ryan Reynolds. The Boy in the Striped Pajamas. How about one of the most depressing Holocaust movies ever? This one is about a young German boy living near a concentration camp who ends up making friends with a Jewish boy held captive in the camp, and they hang out on opposite sides of the fence that is separating them until the film reaches its devastating conclusion. This is a very tough watch, and I know many will find it slow and boring, but you have to watch this one all the way through. You have to make it to the end of this one, because it's a movie that you really have to judge with the full story. Brooklyn's Finest is a crime thriller from Anton Fuqua that stars Richard Gere, Don Cheadle, and Ethan Hawke as cops in Brooklyn who do crime thriller things. Center Stage is a ballet drama about students at the American Ballet Academy who try to be the best dancers they can be. I remember being dragged to see this in theaters when I was a kid because my sister was super into it, and it's basically a teen movie. It's whatever. Chasing Amy, and would you look at that? The only Jay and Silent Bob movie that I genuinely just flat out don't like. This one stars Ben Affleck and Joey Lauren Adams as a man who tries to get a lesbian to sleep with him. I love Kevin Smith, but I do not like this movie. Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, a children's classic that I never got to see as a kid, and boy do I wish I did, because this one seems absolutely ridiculous. It is about an eccentric inventor who creates a flying car and then takes his kids on a wacky adventure. I gotta find myself some mushrooms and watch this. Chloe, here's a movie I love. This erotic thriller stars Julianne Moore, Liam Neeson, and Amanda Seyfried. It's about a woman who believes that her husband is cheating on her, so she hires an escort to seduce him and then report back to her with the details. But things do not play out like they should. I love this movie. It pretty much gives me everything I want out of an erotic thriller. If you like suspenseful dramas with a lot of nudity, then this will definitely do it for you. Click, a comedy starring Adam Sandler as a man who gets a remote that controls time. I remember seeing this back when it came out, and my stupid friends got real into it. They thought it was so deep, like it was some meditation on the passage of time or some shit, and I was just like, get it together. This is an Adam Sandler movie. Cloverfield. This found footage monster flick follows New York City residents under attack after a mysterious giant monster attacks out of nowhere and starts snapping skyscrapers like twigs. Even if you don't care for found footage, the filming technique is used to great effect to make one of the most unique creature features. The Curious Case of Benjamin Button. I swear I just talked about this being added to Netflix. Hope you caught Brad Pitt aging in reverse, because Netflix is slipping on us. The Duchess, a period drama starring Keira Knightley as a woman in a loveless marriage who decides to start cheating. I swear that is like every single role that she plays. Keira Knightley's entire career message, ladies gotta cheat too. While we're talking about historical dramas, Netflix is also losing both Elizabeth movies. These epics chronicle different periods in time of Queen Elizabeth I's reign of England. Cate Blanchett should have won her first Oscar for the first Elizabeth movie. We all know Gwyneth Paltrow straight up robbed her, but we all know what a mistake that was now. Ferris Bueller's Day Off. This essential John Hughes 80s comedy stars Matthew Broderick as the titular character living out everyone's everyday fantasy. He just wants a day off. While this movie is totally 80s, it could also act as the movie mascot for our current internet era depression times, because you've got the best friend Cameron Fry, who is basically the representation of any one of us on any given day, and then you got Ferris Bueller out there living his best life. Ghost Rider, Thriller, a genuine pile of trash, which is what you get when you try to make a superhero movie with Nicolas Cage. He is a skull-headed biker who rides his flaming motorcycle up buildings. It is so heterosexual your dick will explode. Here alone, you know, one of the best things about making any movie recommendation videos on streaming services is knowing that they will all be gone super soon. Here Alone is a zombie survival thriller about a woman living in a world overrun by zombies, and I know you've seen a million zombie movies, but this one is really low-key and small scale in the right character-driven way, and that's why I think more people have to watch it. Inception, Christopher Nolan's modern sci-fi classic, stars a stacked cast in a mind-bending adventure. You've probably heard plenty about this movie, and you know it's supposed to be coming back to theaters whenever they actually open before Tenet comes out, but in case you'd rather refresh your memory on Netflix, I'd say do it soon. Instructions Not Included is a Spanish language dramedy that was a sleeper hit at the box office, and it's about a man who raises a daughter that is dropped off at his doorstep until the mother returns years later. Kiss the Girls is an adaptation of a James Patterson novel starring Morgan Freeman as Detective Alex Cross, who is tracking a serial killer with the help of Ashley Judd's character, a survivor who previously escaped from the villain. This is the most 90s thriller, and I love that. The Mask of Zorro is the 90s reboot of the classic character directed by Martin Campbell, who also had success rebooting James Bond with GoldenEye and Casino Royale. This one stars Antonio Banderas, Catherine Zeta-Jones, and Anthony Hopkins in an old school adventure with, you know, Zorro, he's like Batman and Robin Hood. He's a real interesting character, and I think that it's actually important to sort of know this story, even if this version, of course, isn't really up to our standards of today. It's still a well-done movie, but it acts as the precursor to the modern superhero, and that alone makes it worth a watch. The Matrix, easily the most iconic action movie of my generation. This is from the Wachowskis, and this sci-fi blockbuster is about our world being nothing but a mere simulation and the group of rebels trying to fight the computers that control everything. Minority Report is a sci-fi thriller from Steven Spielberg that stars Tom Cruise in a future when the police have the ability to arrest people for crimes before they are even committed. I know I've seen this in bits and pieces, but I can't really stand Tom Cruise, so I probably need to give this a rewatch because I know a lot of people love this movie. Philadelphia is a drama starring Tom Hanks as a gay lawyer with AIDS who is fired from the firm that he works at, so he hires Denzel Washington's character, a homophobic lawyer who takes up the discrimination case. Tom Hanks won his first Oscar for this role, and it probably began the gay Oscar bait problem, but this did have a major cultural impact at the moment, and it's a really well-made film and one of the first representations of AIDS that I saw in film, so it's a pretty important one and a great watch for Pride Month. Speaking of Tom Hanks, we got the Polar Express also pulling on out of here. This animated Christmas movie is about kids being taken on a train ride to the North Pole on Christmas Eve, and it's both creepy and charming, but it's not Christmas. You don't need to worry about this one. The Ring, one of the scariest movies ever made, I tell you. This remake of the Japanese film Ringu follows a reporter investigating a killer videotape that kills anyone 7 days after they watch it. I know this sounds really outdated and probably quite silly, but any 90s and 2000s kid knows just how terrifying this movie is. Scary Movie, on the complete opposite end of the spectrum, we have a parody movie that makes fun of all late 90s horror films. I love Scary Movie. It is wildly inappropriate and awful. Not a very good movie, but it's a hilarious one. Sliver, a truly awful movie that I like. What can I say? I like my erotic thrillers, guys. This one stars Sharon Stone as a woman who moves into an apartment building and she starts sleeping with her landlord, who, shocker, is a total creep. The Tremors series is leaving Netflix. Tremors 1 through 5, they're all gonna be gone. I know I've already spoken about Tremors, so I will just say I love the first one. The first 3 are actually pretty enjoyable, but in case you don't want to watch the entire franchise, I would say give Tremors a rewatch, the original, because in my opinion, it is the most underrated creature feature out there. What Lies Beneath, another thriller that I love and I guess no one else does. This one stars Michelle Pfeiffer as a woman who believes her house is haunted, but there's more going on beneath the surface of things. I really enjoy this movie. Sure, it's slow and boring, not much happens. That's exactly what everyone is about to tell me. But you know what? I gotta tell you, I personally think that bathtub scene at the end is one of the most tense scenes ever, and it's totally worth it. Yes Man is a comedy starring Jim Carrey as a pessimistic guy who decides to start saying yes to everything. So of course a bunch of silly situations happen. Well guys, that is my list of the best movies that are leaving Netflix at the end of June. Was there nothing on here that you want to see before it's gone? I personally think there's a whole bunch of good stuff leaving, and it's a real bummer to me. It's like with each and every one of these videos that I do, I just keep looking at all of the things leaving Netflix, and they end up getting some more good stuff too with each new month, but to me I feel like they're constantly losing good stuff and only gaining a little bit more. It's like one step forward, two steps back. Personally, I think their originals lately have just been very, I mean, I don't know. What do you guys think? Is Netflix still your #1 favorite streaming service? Is it the only one you go to? Or are you starting to have some problems with it as well? Because remember the good old days when, you know, everything was just there on Netflix and it was cool, and now with everything being divided up amongst all of the other streaming services, I just feel like I keep seeing Netflix left with less and less, and you know, sucks for them, but also they started this problem, so that's kind of what happens. It's like you got to stop making TV movies, Netflix, stop making Lifetime crap and just really salacious CW type crap. I'm just over it. Netflix, you are better than this. What happened? All right, I've been ranting and raving enough. I've already taken up enough of your time. So you guys let me know in the comments what you want to see here on the channel. Thank you so much for watching this video. I greatly appreciate it as always. I hope you're all having a fantastic day. Don't forget to like this video, share it with your friends, subscribe to watch this now to be on the lookout for all my leaving videos and for coverage of stuff coming to your favorite streaming services. That's it for this video though, but I won't stop you from watching another.